Welcome to this course Signals and Systems. As explained in the introduction, this course is rich in mathematical analysis and it is a very important core electronics and communication related subject. And many of the future signal processing and other related companies prefer signals and systems knowledge. So, for any of the GATE exam or any of the technical related competitive exams, include most of the questionnaires and the syllabus percentage of any of such competitive exams will be more given to this course signals and systems. That is why this subject is more important. Now in this basic first introduction lecture, let us understand about what is the definition of a signal and what are the real world examples of that signal. In mathematics, we have used the notation of f of x, where f of x stands for function of a variable x. F means function, x means variable. So any function which is depending on a variable x is called f of x. Say for example in mathematics, for a parabola, we have written f of x is equal to 4x square, where this f 4x square is a parabola equation, or we can call this as a parabola function, and this parabola function depends on the variable x. That's why the equation contains only the variable x. F depends on x, whereas x does not depend on anything. So we can call f is a function which depends on x. Now this we represent in mathematics as a function of x, where x is a independent variable. It does not depends on any other thing. Now this is the representation in mathematics. Now how to represent instead of f of x in signals and systems course. Instead of f of x, which is present as the notation in mathematics, now in our course, that is signals and systems, we use the notation instead of f, we use the notation as small x, and instead of x we use the notation as inside the bracket whatever was there instead of x, instead of that x we are using the notation as small t. So instead of f of x, which is the notation used in mathematics, in our course signals and systems we use the notation it as small x of t, x of t. So x of t, where x is a function here, because instead of f in mathematics we have written x in our course. So x is a function which depends on the variable t. So t is a variable here which does not depend on anything else. X depends on the variable t, but t does not depend on anything else. So we can call as x is nothing but the dependent variable, because it depends on another variable t. So we can call that x as dependent variable, and t can be called as independent variable. T can be called as independent variable. So now this x of t notation, which is nothing but the same meaning as that of f of x in mathematics, this x of t notation, which is used in our course signals and systems, is called as a signal. This x of t is in mathematics notation, and that itself is called as a signal. So wherever x of t, remember it should be a small letters, x and t should be small letters. So a signal can be defined as, based on this understanding we can define the signal. A signal can be defined as, it is a function of one variable which carries some information. Because a signal, if it is not carrying any information, then we do not call it as a signal at all. A signal means it should carry some information, like it should carry a message, or it should carry a audio, or it should carry a music, or it should carry a photo, like that. So a signal means it should definitely carry a information. So we can define a signal as, it is a function of one or more variable. A signal is a function of one or more variable. See here in the example I have given that x depends on only t variable, but even x can also depend on some other variables also. So it need not be only one variable where the x depends, but x can also depend on two variables also, three variables also, like that. So in general, we can define a signal as a function of one or more variable, function of one or more variable which carries some information, because otherwise if it is not carrying any information we cannot call it as a signal. Is a function of one or more variable which carries some information. Now in real world, where do you find a signal? Whatever the speech signal, what we are listening now, that is an example of a speech signal. A speech is nothing but it's a vibration of molecules. When you utter a word or when you pronounce anything, the vocal cords will vibrate, and because of vocal cords are vibrating, the molecules, air molecules present near the mouth will vibrate, and because of that the vocal cords and the mouth operation, because of that we are able to produce our speech signal. And this speech signal is acoustic in nature. It depends on the air molecules. But once this speech signal is converted into electrical signal using a transducer, when you are speaking into a phone, your speech signal will be converted into electrical signal by using a transducer. So now the speech signal depends, after converting the speech signal into electrical signal, now the speech signal depends on time. So the major thing what our speech signal depends on the variable is time. Time is very important. That is why we use the variable on which our signal depends as time. In electricals and electronics, most of our signals depends on the variable time only. That is why we take the general notation time. Instead of time, we take the variable name as small t. T represents time. So any signal, electrical or electronic signal, depends on the variable time, t, small t. Say for example, the example of the real world signal is speech signal. And you can find out various noises present in the real world. That is also a signal, noise signal. And ECG, electrocardiograph. When the doctor performs ECG, your report, whatever doctor provides you, will contain a graph, and it is based on the duration, time. What will be there on the x-axis? When you take an ECG like this, you will be getting a graph. The x-axis will be time, seconds, like 0 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, like that. And your ECG signal will look like this. So ECG signal, that means your heart rate, noise produced by your heart rate, that means your heart beating sound, that contains amplitude. That is recorded on a graph sheet when the doctor measure your ECG heart rate. And your heart beats every periodical intervals of time, right? So that's why you are going to get a change in amplitude every periodic intervals of time. Say for example, 1 second your heart beats, and after another 1 second your heart beats. Okay, it is just an example. And after another 1 second your heart beats. So the heart beating, or the sound produced by heart beating, its amplitude depends on time. So we can tell that this y-axis is called as amplitude, and this is your x-axis, and this x-axis is called as time. So this will be your y-axis. Similarly, in our speech signal also, when I am speaking anything, at this time my amplitude level is low, and for the next time my amplitude level is changing. It can be increased or it can be decreased. So depending upon time, I am speaking with a low voice and I am speaking with a high voice. So my speech signal amplitude, loudness depends on time. So most of our signal which are present around us in real world depends on time. That is why we use in our subject, we use the notation as x of t, where x is a signal which depends on one variable, time. That's why t is written. So all these are speech signal, noise signal, ECG, and then audio signal. Many are the examples of signal what we can quote in real world. Now all these signals depends only on one variable, that means the time. My speech signal, noise, audio, everything depends on only one variable. Such type of signals which depends only on one variable is called as one dimensional signal. 1D signal. D stands for dimension. So any signal which depends on only one variable is called one dimensional signal. Like speech signal, noise, audio signal, or all are examples of one dimensional signal. And there are few examples of two dimensional signal also. A signal which depends on two variables, like x of t comma z. So x is a signal which depends on t also, and it depends on z also. So there are two variables on which the signal depends. So we call such type of signals as two-dimensional signal. Such type of signals as two-dimensional signal. And the examples of two-dimensional signal are your image. Image is an example, or even you can quote the example of video signal. Image signal, whatever you capture in the phone or camera, digital camera, or video signal, both are example of two-dimensional signal. Because in an image, if you take an image, each and every color or the brightness depends on which row it is present and which column it is present. So in an image, the brightness or the intensity depends on row and column. So row and column are the two variables where on which your image brightness depends. So row and variable are the two variables on which the image signal depends. So that is why it is an example of two-dimensional signal. A signal which depends on two variables is called two-dimensional signal. Now this is about the definition and example of signal. Now let us define and understand the meaning of a system. System. Take an example of if you have a half-wave rectifier circuit. So I have an example of half-wave rectifier. So this half-wave rectifier signal will take an input, that is x of t, and it gives one half-wave rectified signal as output, and we can call it as y of t. The input signal will be a sine wave, and the output signal y of t will be a half-wave rectified signal. X of t is a sine wave, and then y of t is a half-wave rectified signal. So this is, whatever the half-wave rectifier circuit is there, that is an example of system. Okay. So whatever a half-wave rectifier can contain a electrical circuit, or it can contain a program written inside it. Okay. So or it can contain some connection of intermediate blocks. So this whole thing, half-wave rectifier, whole thing can be called as a system. So a system will take one input signal x of t, and it will produce one output signal y of t. I am calling output signal as y and input signal as x. And it takes an input signal and it gives an output signal. And to give the output signal, it should perform something on the input signal. It should perform some function on the input signal. Here, as an example, what is half-wave rectifier performing on the input signal? It is performing the rectification. The negative cycles are removed. So that is its function. That is a function of half-wave rectifier system. So a system can be a circuit, or it can be an interconnection of another systems, or it can be a program written embedded on a system, programmable device, or anything. So a system is an entity. So in general, we can call a system as an entity which takes one input signal x of t and it performs some operation on the input signal and then produces a output signal. That is the definition we can give. System is defined as an entity. System is defined as an entity which accepts or takes the input signal, and performs some function. A system should do some function on the input signal or some operation. Performs some operation on input signal and produces the output signal. So by seeing this block diagram, we can define the system. A system is an entity which takes the input signal and performs some operation on the input and then produces a output signal. A system can contain inside a circuit or a block diagram or interconnection of another systems, or it can be a program which is embedded on another system, programmable device. So what are the examples we can give for a system? As I gave already one example here, your simple circuit, that is half wave rectifier, is an example of system. Not only half wave rectifier, it can be any circuit for that matter. Any circuit which takes an input signal and which produces an output signal is a system. Any circuit is a system. And if I want to give you much more higher level example in real world, communication. So communication system is also an example. Communication system, what does it do? It accepts a message signal and it transfers the message signal to receiver side. From one place to another, message is transferred. So that is also an example, communication system. And speaker identification, speaker recognition or speaker identification, both are same. Speaker recognition system. So if you go to any of the database in any of the high-tech industries, if you speak, it should recognize your voice and it should show your identity. So that is your speaker recognition system. And even in your biometrics, whatever you find in the industries or colleges or in any of the companies, the biometrics, if you give your thumb impression, it will accept the thumb impression and it will consider and it will show your data and it will take you as logged in and you can enter and the attendance will be marked. So all these are examples of systems: speaker recognition system, communication system, biometrics, okay, etc. So anything for that matter which takes the input signal and performs something on the input signal and produces a output signal is called as a system. For simplicity, we have assumed that a system will have only one input and one output, but in general, a systems can also have multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So this is about the definition of system and its practical real life example.